Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the first episode of the wegrow 360 podcast, which is a part of wegrow 360 platform. And that platform was created to build resources for dancers to build more fulfilled, more happy, and more sustainable dance careers and lifestyles. So we are at the beginning of 2024, and I'm very excited for this podcast today. And in the studio, we have Kane Silva.
Hello, hello.
We have Charlene Willets.
Hello.
And we have Mira Jebari.
Hey.
Amazing. So with this first episode today, I really wanted for us to bring as much value for people that are listening to start a year right, start a year excited, start a year with a purpose, start a year just looking forward to it and just like getting ourselves on the highest gear straight away as soon as possible, and with a positive outlet and a positive outlook on this as well. So the first question might be a big one, but the first month that we have at wegrow 360 is all about the identity. So I'm going to ask you this big question, and we're going to see how it's going to roll. And I would like to know, who are you and who do you identify yourself as? Whoever wants to challenge themselves to go with this question first.
I can go if you all want. I think now, as a 33-year-old, is a very different answer than what you would have got as an aspiring 19-year-old. Very, very different. Now I see myself as a human. I see myself as a confident, proud man who is fearless in the pursuit of being the best version of me I can be.
Love it.
Besides being obviously really cool and a dancer. All those other wonderful things, you know what I'm saying? Like, but for me, I'm really proud of the man I am, and what values I have. Like, my core values are so good, and I believe they're good. So I feel like, yeah, nothing can kind of take me away from those things anymore. But it's taken a long road to get there.
That's really, really, really nice. Ladies?
I would say, a woman still on a mission, created to impact the lives of people, but reminding myself that work and business is not my life. So reminding myself that I have a personal life and a personal world. And I'm very strongly about that, because at the end of the year, I could count on many fingers my successes in my business and my work, but not in my personal. So I was like, there has to be a fine balance. So as much as I'm a ninja, a woman on a mission here to create and change lives, Charlene comes first.
Nice.
So just reminding that I'm nearly 40, so there is a lot that I still need to do for my personal life. But just recognizing that strength and still being that beacon of light, but being the light to my world and not to people all the time.
Fantastic. Amazing.
For me, I would say a strong, unapologetic woman. Yeah, and just standing in my truth, believing in myself much more now than I would have a few years ago, because that was something I struggled with all the time. So I preach that to everyone that comes in contact with me. That's like one of my main things, like believe in yourself, because no one else is going to believe in you. And that's that. But yeah, for me, I think just literally strong, unapologetic, like, person who's just trying to just do better, like, I guess for others too, but also for myself. Yeah.
I love it. And I feel like it's so inspiring to hear like the different things that you guys say about yourself, you know, that we're not just a one word, we're not just what we do, but each one of you just said something completely different, but really I could feel that it was speaking from like a deeper understanding of that. And I think that comes with time too. You know, I think when we were younger, we just, like you said before, we would say like, okay, I'm a dancer, or, you know, like stuff like that. But I think now it comes a little bit deeper. And I didn't even introduce myself. My name is olapapior, and I am also on a mission. I'm also a woman that likes to try as many things in life as possible, and I want to help as many people as possible. So I think that's my purpose, and that's who I think I am. I'm here for that purpose, to be of service to others and to be of help and to be connecting with other people. And I think who I am a person that just wants to enjoy every day that I have in whatever way I can. If that's work, if that's life, if that's just anything, just being grateful every day.
Nice.
Love that.
Nice.
Boom. It makes me so happy because I love when people talk about themselves with the feeling of like, yes, like I can feel it. I say it because I feel it. Like I feel like that's so important, and that's what we can also. I hope people listening to it are gonna feel as well and get inspired by that introduction. So it's not scary when someone asks it, because there's a lot of people who get scared by the question, but it's like no, like boom, say it every time.
But people probably don't know the answer. That's why.
Yeah.
I think people think they know, like, and I can only talk about my experience. Like, if you'd asked me at 22, I'd tell you, I'm Kane Silver and I'm from Cardiff, and I, like, with all this front, but actually behind it, there's no substance or meaning. It's pure just trying to survive, trying to chase the dream, like tunnel visioned, and I'm saying the answers that I think I need to say and not what I really feel.
It comes with time, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, learning new.
It comes with time. It does come with time.
Yeah. All right, guys. Question that I have for you is, what are you leaving in 2023? What did you leave, actually? Because that already happened.
I left things that didn't no longer serve me. So I think when you're someone that serves, it's important that you're also being served. So anything that no longer served me, I let go of. So it was important that everything that I do, both parties are getting from it. So because time is moving. So for me, it was anything that no longer served me. Everything I do has a purpose, but it had to also serve me as well.
Just filling your own cup as well.
Yeah, because you don't have time, like, you just don't have time to waste on anything that doesn't bring fruit. You know, I always talk about a tree, you know, and a tree has to bear fruit. So if it doesn't bear fruit, for me, it's not serving. So anything that branches were broken or hanging off got left behind in 2023.
Nice. Would you say that was a work and personal?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I mean, for me, if I'm being honest, is fear. And it's interesting because I can't say I've fully left it. I haven't fully left it. I'm not gonna act. But fear is something that I'm trying to leave, and been trying to leave for again. That's fear in terms of myself, things I want to do that maybe I'm like a bit nervous to do, a whole round situation. Like, but I think fear for me is one thing that I've always struggled with, and it's always something that I'm always trying to leave behind. And it's getting better. So like already this year, there's certain things that I'm like got in the pipeline that I wouldn't probably have done last year. Does that make sense?
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know. Last year was like the best year of my life.
Come on.
Love that.
I think you're the only person I know.
Last year was the best year of my life. Like, and it was weird. Like, you know, like New Year's, and it was like, by 2023, I hate you and never want to see you again. I was like, nah, let's get an extension on this. It's been good. So I feel like there's nothing I'm really leaving behind, but what's more important are the things that I want to take with me. Do you know what I mean? Like, instead of being like, well, that was rubbish, I want to leave that. I want to think like, well, what was amazing? How do I keep that? How do I keep the momentum on that carrying into this year? Because I feel like if we think positive, then things are going to feel more positive, as opposed to being like, that was awful, I don't want to experience that again. Then we're already wasting energy on the awful as opposed to manifesting in the good.
Yeah.
Sure. I think like for me personally, it's like it was not a great year, but at the same time, I'm kind of thankful for it because I have a different motivation and activation, I think, since January, since I stepped into new one. And I think that's a positive outlook at this as well. Because for me, I'll relate to fear, but I will kind of say I left my self-doubt because there's so many things that I do that kind of need courage and belief. And sometimes I can be the only person that does that within my own thing. And no one understands it, or people don't understand it first, but they'll come later. And I think now I just don't even look at the doubt. I just don't even give it a thought. Before I would consider it and it would kind of like sway me, but now I'm kind of like, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go. Whoever going to catch up to me, great. Whoever going to go with me, great. Whoever wants to jump in later, great. Like no problem at all. You know, there's different stages with different people and different stages in different spaces, and it's absolutely fine. I think it's important to understand that we have to keep moving and moving into different directions sometimes. Yeah. Isn't
it weird how we go like, it's a new year, it's a new me? Why do we have to wait for the new year? Like, why do we have to be like, what do you leave it from 2023? Why can't it be like, yo, today sucked, let's make tomorrow better?
Yeah,
like, I think, and like, you know, when people be like, like I've got loads of family members which is like, on Monday I start my new diet, and I'm like, well, it's Wednesday.
I love
Like,
Monday.
why are you
I
waiting?
love starting things on Monday.
Like,
I'm not gonna lie.
me too.
But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, why do we do that thing where we have
think
to
it's
do a
subconscious.
benchmark?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like we're
Interesting.
trying to like give ourselves it's okay, I've still got time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like, if we change our mentality to, yo, from this moment forwards, or at
think-
least tomorrow,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're all going to be in a much better place than going, it's a new year, it's a new
Yeah.
me. No, there's nothing different, just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
It's the same you.
I
You
think
can
it's
start
the
today.
easiest time to reset because you have that time, the Christmas time. So it kind of gets you like a week and a half, sometimes 2 weeks of like stopping. So that's why people use it to reflect. Maybe that's why that comes in after.
Should I tell you what changed all of that for me? Being a dancer, like for us, probably where we're at in our lives right now, we stop. But I remember doing panto for the first time ever, and I remember everyone being like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited for Christmas!" And I was like, "Yeah, me too. I'm working the whole of Christmas." And Christmas Day came, and everyone's excited to celebrate Christmas Day. I get a day off, get a time with the family. I was like, "No, I get a break. I get a day to be a human." And I feel like that changed my whole mindset of like what a break is, because it's not a break for everyone. It's just a break for us. So when we
Yeah.
talk about it, like we can't say it's a break for everyone. It's a reset for everyone because everyone's is different, right?
Yeah.
Like depending if we're just basing this just at dance. Well, if you're in panto, it's your busiest time of year.
Yeah.
It's the hardest time of your year.
Mm.
True. We need more. We need more resets like that, or kind of just a moment to like reflect. I think reflection is like a big one as well. All right, so let's jump into 2024. What we stepping into? What we bringing? Where's the energy going?
2024 is the year to soar
Ooh,
like an eagle.
ooh.
It's to soar. It's just to do better than what was done last year. Just continue to elevate, to accelerate, accumulate, to increase. So 2024 is the year to increase.
Boom.
You know, they say it's lonely at the top. That's why I always say that's why expensive cars have 2 seats.
Hey.
Because it's lonely at the top though, because it takes a lot of sacrifice and discipline. And I feel like there's not a lot of eagles, a lot of birds, but not a lot of eagles. So yeah, 2024 is the year to soar.
I love
So
that.
a lot of elevating, personal elevation.
Can I ask you what do you think it takes to be an eagle?
It takes sacrifice. It takes discipline. It takes perseverance. It takes patience and having grace and being kind to yourself. So having that mix, I think, is what allows you to be that.
Nice. And I think in today's fast-paced world, patience is just something that needs to be reminded of.
Most definitely.
And giving yourself grace.
Mm.
And giving yourself grace. Like, it's okay that I may not be here at this point, and it's
Yeah.
okay if it's taking me a little bit longer. Like, it's okay if I haven't reached that peak yet. Give yourself grace.
Nice.
That's important.
I feel like, I mean, for me this year, 2024, I think just being more confident in every part of yourself, not just dance, obviously, but like as a person, but also just living each day as it comes. Like, it's okay to have dreams and aspirations and also set targets, but also just go with the flow. That is also okay. So I just feel like just living your life for what it is and not putting too much pressure on yourself. That's what I'm trying to sell with in this year.
Love it.
Yeah.
So needed.
From a personal aspect, as a human and not as a creative or a dancer, I think to invest more time in me and my family, because I feel like in our industry, being self-employed is always like, you can't stop. The hustle must continue. And that's probably my strength and my weakness. I always say your biggest strength is your biggest weakness. And I believe no one's hustle is as hard as mine. But the downside to that is that I don't then get time to be a human because I'm always thinking about the hustle. So as a human, to probably hustle less and then hustle more with my fiance. You know, I'm getting married this year. You know, like last year we just bought our first real house. We had a flat. We've bought a house together. Like there's loads of amazing things as a human that I need to invest time and effort and energy in, and the sacrifice has to come from somewhere for that time, because time, we don't get more time. You know, so I need to supplement where I'm taking that and invest it there. From a business point of view or from a creative point of view, nothing's going to change from last year. It's going to be to just keep investing from a good place into the people who are also investing in me, and try and help others and guide others towards their goal. I always say, like, you want to try and be a sat nav to people. I want to try and help them reach the destination. I can't drive the car for them. I can't be their engine, but I can certainly try and help navigate. And I feel like that's what fulfills me now more than, I guess, performing does anymore. So more of that from a business aspect or a creative, in whatever area that may be, as, you know, one person as a private mentoring someone, or as if it's coaching a group of people.
Love that.
Nice.
Love that. I think I'm gonna bring being unapologetic in everything I do, and I think embracing shifts. I think 2023 started shifts for me, and I got scared of them. I got a bit like, oh, is it good? Is it bad? I didn't know how to feel about it. Now I'm just sitting in the driver's seat and I'm going, and I'm just, like you said, I'm just gonna try to aim and try to maybe find a partner to see it with me next to me. Great. And just do that. Just go and just see everything that's in front of me. Don't look on the sides, don't look at the back, and then just, you know, bring a bus of people that can help with me. I hope so.
Nice.
So I want to also ask you guys, this is, we're going to jump into like a more dance related topic, but my question is, what does authenticity means to you as a dancer?
Ooh.
Because we like to use that word. I think the word is very popular nowadays. But like how, and everyone's going to have a different understanding. We learn the same language, but we understand it differently through our personal lenses. So I think it will be interesting to hear.
It's really hard now, isn't it? Because I feel like with the generation where we're at, where like TikTok and all these things are such a thing, that it's so probably hard to be like your authentic self. Because if you are your authentic self, you might get left behind, because you have to keep up with the times and you have to keep up with the trends. Like, I remember doing a job and everyone was doing TikToks, and I was like, yo, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't need the gratification from a bunch of 4-year-olds or 14-year-olds that have no understanding of actual dance quality, but I can make a viral move go. And then I'll speak to another successful dancer next to me and they're like, yeah, but I'm making like $3,000 a month from doing it. And you're like, like, that's like, I'm not too good to turn that money down, but that means I have to sacrifice what I really believe in. So I feel like now it's becoming harder and harder to become your more authentic self, because we're in a viral world. So your authentic self might be killing tomorrow or today and be forgot about tomorrow. So I think it's harder, more hard now than it's ever been to do that. But I just think for me, to be authentic would be just to lead with compassion and care and love, and try and find the positive in stuff, which again, it's so easy to find the negative and stuff now, because, you know, that's what we're sold on media, everything. You never look at the news and it's like, today's a great day.
Yeah. No.
We had a lovely day at the beach. They're like, oh my God, the world's ending. The sun's out. We're all like, the sun's out. Yeah, great. So we can find the negative in anything, because it's what, you know, it's what we're sold every single minute of every single day. So for me, it's to try and find the positivity and stuff and lead with that energy and that intention. And then I think it'll gravitate good things.
That's interesting.
Because we all don't want to be around negative people, right?
Yeah.
You go, oh, they're a vacuum. Don't want to be around them.
Yeah.
So if we lead with that, I think then we won't be around that.
Yeah. What about you, ladies? What's authenticity for you?
I would say walking in your truth, but being adaptable. So yes, we can navigate. There's certain things out there like your TikToks, and there's certain things that you may not align with, but it's about walking in your truth. Because like the world, I always say to people that we're not training you to be clones. So there's something very special about you that the world don't know about. So walk in your truth, but navigate it into the career that you choose to be. So if you're a commercial dancer, yeah, you have to look like one. Yeah, I get that. But walk in your truth. And I think if you're walking in your truth whilst navigating and still finding it out, that for me is true authenticity, because I want you as the human, not as your inspiration or who you look up to. So I want your truth.
Nice.
Similar, really. I think that word for me means being yourself. So even if you are doing a TikTok, let's say, how you're doing it, that's how you're doing it. You're not doing it like anyone else, like literally what you said. That's you being authentic for me to yourself. Obviously, you're not wanting to do it. That makes perfect sense. But for example, there's specific people that you know dance like this. We can name names where we know that's how that person dances. That's how that person moves. They're authentic to themselves because they're moving how they want to move, as opposed to we're copying people and we're doing the lagging and the delaying and all that. Like, it's long. That, you're not being authentic. Like, let's just leave it. Don't even get me into it, please. But I'm just going to leave it there. just dance like yourself, like be yourself. I think that is the foundation of being authentic.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like, I'm a dancer and I just heard that and I'd be like, but I don't know what that means to you. I don't know what my kind of dance is.
I think that's where you need to go in the lab and you need to find yourself. That's training. That comes with years. I don't think.
That comes
I
with
think.
time.
Yeah, I think people are still. Again, we live in a microwave world. So right now it's a bit peak because everyone wants things now, which I understand. The generation is different.
Everyone wants Amazon Prime. Bro.
Is that literally? No, yeah, literally.
They want next day delivery.
Right.
Yes.
So I think finding yourself, knowing yourself, like we all kind of said, or I think you said it as well, actually, like you didn't know, like a few years ago, you wouldn't have answered that first question, how you would have answered it, because you probably didn't know yourself as much as you know now. So just know yourself, like take time, be gentle, give yourself grace. Do you know what I mean? I think, I don't know.
That's really cool.
I think a lot of people find it hard to be themselves because there's this validation thing. You know, so people probably know who they are, but they're afraid to be their authentic self. You know, I think that comes with time, it comes with growth, it comes with mentorship, and it comes with self-belief.
Yep.
But the most important thing is just trying to walk in your truth. Like, you know the things you like, you know the music you like, you know the way your body likes to move. Just let it be.
Yeah, sit in it.
Just be it. Just sit in it. Sit in it. Yeah.
I remember when I was young, I was so scared to tell everyone that I don't like the choreographer that everyone loves and it's like the most popular. I would
Who
just
was it?
keep
That's what I want to know.
Oh, here we go, round one.
I'll say if you do.
Just gonna still keep it quiet. But I always knew it and I'm always gonna think it didn't change. But taking it back to another question, what advice then would you give a dancer that is trying to fit a specific criteria to be employed? Because there are specific criteria that we have to, if you want to fit certain brackets of like commercial world or theatre or whatever that is, that person wants, and they know that the goal is at the core, they want it, and they're trying to fit in that criteria. How do you navigate the authenticity in that space?
I think this day and age, there's so much work out there now. And there's, for example, in terms of shows, there is so many shows that cater to so many different people. So I don't feel like you necessarily need to be a certain artist. Like if you want to go like into the MT world, there is so many shows out there now. So I don't feel like you need to be this certain grad to be able to book your first job. I feel like there is so much work out there that is available to so many different people. So again, it's just being your best. Just being the best artist that you can be, because there is work out there for you. It's just being the best. So mentally, physically, artistically, professionally, like be your best, because there is work out there. So I would say right now, the industry right now, you don't need to conform to be something. Just be your best. There is work out there for you.
Love that.
Yeah, no,
And
I
people
agree with
now,
that.
and now casting and creatives are now creating roles for people because they've come in with their true authentic self in an audition. So actually we wanted this, but you've brought something that we didn't even know before. So actually we're going to change the brief for you. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Love that.
So I would just say, do you, be the best you, and the right doors for you will open, because there's work out there.
Yeah, I agree. Be yourself, but also I think this might be going off topic, but also when you're trying to fit into these criteria and stuff, that it actually may not be for you. Also, like, be honest with yourself too. There's certain things that doesn't mean you can't do them, but it just may not be your actual lane, and that's okay. Like, so I think just being honest. I feel like a lot of creatives are not honest with themselves, and it's always like, oh, they just don't want me, or there is a part of that because we know there's an aesthetic that goes with certain things. Let's not act, but also it might not actually be for you. Yeah. So just being okay with that as well, I think. But yeah,
go on.
What I say to some dancers that I'm very comfortable with, and I can be brutally honest, I'll just say, yo, know your role. Like, I'm 5'8", white and ginger. You ain't gonna see me next to Beyonce, no matter how much I want that job. You ain't gonna see me next to Kendrick Lamar,
create a role for
no matter
you.
how much I want that job. Like, I can take every freaking dance class there is. I ain't gonna. If I do, I'm gonna be maybe one of 40. I'm not gonna be next to Kendrick Lamar as one of 2. It ain't happening. Know your role. The likeliness of me doing J-Lo ain't happening. She has Hispanic looking boys. She don't want no pasty tasty.
Unless
Unless
you're
you're
an
so
exception.
good.
Exactly.
Unless there's a little
There's
spot.
a little something, and that rarely happens, but it does.
Very rare.
But it's rare.
You know,
Yeah.
like Beyonce had Kim Kangaras, white pale ginger girls. Like I think the only very pasty girl that she's ever used for a tour. Like, you know, it's those very minor things. But for me personally, in my career, I always wanted to be like the Brian Tanaka. I always wanted to be the hunky guy dancing next to the hot chick. That was always my goal. But I think I only wanted that because my whole career I was told I couldn't be that. Do you know what I mean? Because when you're a kid, being ginger, I was bullied for being ginger. Ginger wasn't cool. I was always told you can dance, but you don't look like a dancer. So then my goal was to do the jobs which everyone said was unobtainable to me. So I changed my whole aesthetic. I got 54 gym memberships, took 94 protein shakes a day. Like, I got tattoos, I grew a beard. I did everything I could to try and look more masculine or more what we deem as what a man would look like, as opposed to a young boy or a ginger geek. Because I could have got those geeky Nickelodeon roles with the click of a finger. If I knew my role, and I would have been happy with that, I could have lived at Disneyland until I was 28. You know, like,
I'm done.
But it just didn't fulfill me. So if you know your role and you're happy with that role, you can thrive. You can kill that role. You can live in that world, but it might not fulfill you. For me, I wanted to be the hunky guy or the hip hop kid. Well, white, ginger, and geeky doesn't really fall under any of those brackets. So you have to then go, okay, I can do it. It's possible, but I might not get as many opportunities as I want to, or the person next to me who does aesthetically look like those roles.
But also, you could have opened doors for people, but like
100%.
coming up.
I couldn't get into a Chris Brown audition from my headshots. They were like, we want hip hop guys. I gate crashed the audition, put a snapback on, danced. I was the only white guy that got to the end. Because I didn't look aesthetically there. But when I was there, Fly Styles was gassing me up to everyone like, this white trying to take all your jobs in a nice way.
It's going to be a sabo, innit?
Yeah.
But do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But because they perceive me by a picture and not by what I could bring to the table.
That's always the case. Yeah.
That's very interesting as well.
So I think you have the ability to change it, but it's harder.
But I think also know what you're going into. So also know and research and be aware. If there's a certain show you want to do, who's in the show? Like, who's the creative of the show? Like, who are the artists that have been selected for? Like, know your research and know as well.
I think I also could add to this is because we live in the moment when we see so many things, and so many things can feel like, oh, that would be something I would want. That looks like something I could do. That's something I can see myself doing it. And we kind of put this image in our heads that we want it, and it kind of like we roll with it. But again, like, is that what you want to do? And I will always say to everyone, the best way you can check yourself is to ask yourself why you want this. And then when you have that answer, ask yourself again why you want that, and ask yourself 3 times until you get to the core if this is actually what you want, or if this is something that, could feel, it will feel good to do it. You know, I don't think there's enough of a motivation if that will feel good, or that'll be cool to do it, and that will look cool, that'll make me feel cool, then, you know, more like, no, I have a purpose in that. I feel in my core that I want to perform with the artist because I relate to them, relate to their artistry or whatever. Something that's just a little bit of a more of a route into that goal. I think that's going to make it a little bit more sustainable, I guess.
I think you can also be strategic. So sometimes there may be something you may not necessarily want to do, but by doing that can open up a door to something else. I feel like it is also important to be open and be strategic in your career. Yes, we can just be like, I just want to do this, but sometimes it's not the reality.
Yeah.
And you may have to work with that creative or do that show that casting's on that can open that door for that next show. So you do have to be
I've been saying that a lot to people lately. Like, everyone's like, I don't want to do cruises. I'm like, why? And like, I don't want to do the job. I'm like, do you want to work for Lucas McFarlane? Do you want to work for J. Raval? Like, yeah, I want to do the voice. I want to do Joy Awards. I'm like, cool, they choreograph cruise ships now. So that might be your only way to work with them. And if you do a good job, they'll take you off the boat and on the new one. Like,
exactly that. Yeah.
Being flexible, I think, what you want. I think I have done jobs that I never thought I will do, but just because people seen something in me that they feel like I'll be good at that. And I was doing it. I was like, oh my God, I love it, you know? And I was really grateful for that. So you never know when the world, like when the dance life can take you. I think being open to things changing and just trying different things, you know. I think we are just so stuck on like, I want this one, this route is for me, and I'm gonna show up into every class in the front row so that person see me. That's great, but like, just see what else is there, I guess. What makes you happy?
Because the route that you may want may be highly saturated. So allow other doors to open, to be open to things.
And don't be afraid to create online.
Oh my
Online.
gosh.
Oh.
Preach.
Come on.
Have
It's
to
the
make your
scariest
own,
route, you
have
know,
to,
but
have to make your own way. Like, you can't be waiting. Like,
No.
I always preach this. You can't be waiting for people to open doors for you.
No, you
Can't.
knock those bitches down. Sorry.
You can't.
Things down.
You can't. You got.
Break
You
that door,
can't.
Yeah.
Use your own initiative and do what you need to do to maybe get in the right places, but do not ever wait for a handout. Do not wait for other people to help you. Like, people are going to help. Yes, we have generous people in the industry, but also, like, you just need to know, like, you can do this as well. Like, because you'll be waiting all day then.
And be
At this point.
realistic with it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to go and gate crash this audition. It's going to be worth getting in trouble if you know you're not good enough for the job. You know, like, I always say, like, be respectful. But sometimes there's a time, I think, where you can go, I'm going to break the rules, but I can get away with it because I'm worth it.
Right.
Like, let's say, like, I'll use an example, Snow White, the film they filmed, was it 2 years ago? Like, I went to the audition, they wouldn't let me in because I tested positive for the Rona.
Right.
Traveled all the way there, took a day off work, they wouldn't let me in. I was like, I haven't got it, I had it 3 weeks ago, it's still in my system, wouldn't let me in. No way I could be seen again. I was like, okay, what's my route? How do I make this happen for me? I go, okay, Google, Mandy Moore. Oh, you're with Block LA. I'm with Block LA. Email Block LA. I need to be seen on this job. What can I do to be seen? Send us a self-tape. Sent in a self-tape, hired a studio, did everything properly. Hey, she just said, message her, what are your measurements and stuff? You're in.
Love
just
that.
for being like,
Using your
for
initiative.
using your initiative. Because
is
you've
it.
got to remember,
Yeah.
like, you're not trying to be a dancer, you're trying to be a business.
Yeah.
Right, your brand.
You're trying to be a brand and a business.
Boom.
If I had done that and I was rubbish,
Peak.
then I'm going to be known as the guy who was rubbish that was trying to knock down the door, which he couldn't
And
open.
wasting people's time.
And wasting
Yeah,
people's time.
yeah.
Whereas I know I can carry forward to the requirements they need to do the job.
Yeah.
So then it's worth taking that risk.
Yeah.
So it's about being realistic with yourself.
This is it.
Absolutely.
Like, I think some people, they'll go to an audition, they'll come out like heartbroken and crying. Like, I didn't get it. I'm like, yeah, you graduated like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, give yourself
They're
time.
like, I've not worked for
Time.
3 months. I'm like, like, what are you expecting? Like, there's dancers
Welcome to
which
my world.
graduated or have been trying to do this for 10 years. They still ain't got their job. Like,
Wow.
figure this
Yeah.
out. Like,
Yeah.
be patient.
Patience.
Give yourself grace.
Patience.
But again, they want to Klarna their way to a dance career. Do you know what I'm saying? They want to get it now and pay for it later.
But I think also when you're in college, you're in a bubble and you may be the best in your college, but then you come out to the real world and it's a whole different ball
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Which then links to the whole people need to be more honest. That's a whole other conversation.
That's why we created wegrow 360.
Yeah.
We love it.
Cheeky plug. Next event is going to be about resilience. How do we build resilience and, you know, deal with the no's and everything. And also, like, we aiming to also give that understanding to people of running your business. How do I run my business? How do I get hired with this business? How do I go about it? So there's going to be lots of that, which makes me even more excited that we're talking about it. But let me switch a little bit because we talk a lot about dancers, but I want to bring something very important to the table. What advice for 2024, let's just make it open to anything that's going to come to your mind, would you give the teachers and the educators in the space?
More honesty and more leadership. Like, there needs to be more honesty in love, but there needs to be more honesty when sharing, teaching, educating, and mentoring. Because I think everything is kind of surface. And I know that we're in a generation with mental health, but there's ways you can go about it. And I just think there's a lack of honesty that's being given. For example, if you run an open class and you see people sitting down, chatting, having a conversation, teaching them etiquette, like professionalism, like pull them up. Guys, you're here to learn. I just feel like there's a lack of pulling up. There's a lack of discipline. There's a lack of correcting. And I know sometimes they can be equivalent to £10 or to your rent, but it's to help change this industry. And it's only going to happen if there's a lot more honesty.
I like that.
It's a lot more honesty and communication.
I agree with that. I think. Should I really get into it?
100%.
Get into
Most
it.
definitely, please.
And also, sorry, and just be realistic where people are at as well.
Say
That
that
one.
Just
again.
being
Say-
realistic
Oh,
with your pupils to where they are at.
right.
Because where there are lies being told that makes them think they're somewhere where they're not, and there's more learning that needs to take place. So again, it's that honesty, communicating, and
Yeah.
truth. I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I put something on my Instagram like months ago, and it was literally getting shared across the board, boy. And it's basically about this topic, which is interesting.
Love it.
I basically said that teachers need to train.
Ba-na-na-na.
Because I don't understand how you're teaching certain styles in classes and you don't know the foundation of it. Like it's like I just don't get it. Like, and that's all styles. I got obviously Afro is probably the biggest one right now because it's
Yeah.
trendy.
Yeah.
But
Between that and light feet.
yeah. A
Everyone wants
dance
to get
hall, a
on
little
it.
bit here
Yeah.
and there. But yeah, I just feel like you wouldn't dare try teach a pop-in routine.
You wouldn't go and teach
I mean, I don't
ballet.
know actually.
Yeah.
You would never.
Right? Yeah.
You wouldn't. But so like other styles are kind of like hip hop is getting, you know, like I think it's just getting watered down to the point
That's
of
what I
like
wanted to say.
yeah,
exactly.
it's getting watered down, and it doesn't make sense where you don't go and train to then teach your students. So for me, that just makes me think that you're just trying to get your money. And again, of course, we need to eat. I get it. You need to actually teach. You're making money. It's your passion. But also, like you said, I think people just need to be more of I don't want to say mental, because I feel like that's a lot of energy that you're putting on people that may not carry that hold. Like you naturally, you just can't be a
can't
mentor.
mentor
Not
that many
everyone
people.
exactly.
Everyone's your assignment. Not everyone's your
Yeah,
assignment.
no, and it's too much energy. Like if you ain't got it in you, ain't gonna do it. But
Yeah.
I just feel like there needs to be more care with how a teacher is teaching, because these students, bear in mind, these students are watching you. I said that on my post. These students are watching their teachers,
Yeah.
not training, going to not going to these classes. Sorry. So why they go? Well, they don't need to go. Like if I'm a student and I'm like in a class and I'm learning, I don't know, it's like I don't know. I'm learning commercial, whatever. I'm in a commercial class and they're like teaching a combination of like there's Afro, there's a bit of dancehall in there, and there's like commercial moves, whatever. And you're doing them. I'm thinking they're right. You're not going to the class because you're teaching me something wrong.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, you don't train. So why am I going to the Afro class? Why am I going to a dancehall class? Why am I going to a light free class? I'm just going to come to you. So it's literally getting watered down. It's getting passed down. And it's like Chinese whispers. It's like, it's ruining the whole situation. It just doesn't make any sense. I just think teachers need to train more, or just don't teach the style. Very simple.
I think you're going to have a lot to say.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, God.
it's such a loaded question, right? Because the first thing is you have to figure out, why are you teaching?
The why.
Are you teaching for clout? Are you teaching for a video? Are you teaching for people to sing your name and be like, oh my God, they're amazing on Instagram? Or are you singing because you genuinely love teaching? Are you singing? Are you teaching because you genuinely love teaching? It's been a long day, guys. Are you teaching because you've got no work at the moment? Like, what's the purpose of your teaching? Like, I quit a dance career because teaching brings me more value. I genuinely thrive from it. I love it. There is nothing more fulfilling than seeing someone who's not very good get good. When I hear teachers be like, not teaching beginners, that's called teaching, bro. Do you know if you're teaching
That's
advanced people,
harder.
do you know what that's
That is
called?
harder.
That's called
Yeah.
choreographing. Because, like, no shade, like, what's a 23-year-old going to teach most of us that we don't know? So you're not teaching, you're choreographing steps and we're learning them. It's very rare that you're going to offer us something that we've not seen or heard before, right? So therefore, you're not a teacher. You're a choreographer.
Choreograph. Yeah, they're different.
That's different.
They're different. And there's
And
nothing wrong with that.
No, 100%. There's nothing wrong. So you need to figure out why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, it's because I like helping people improve. I would rather teach someone from a novice level to get to intermediate than teach someone from being advanced to still being advanced. Brings far more value. Don't get me wrong. I'll get a better class video if that's the goal or whatever it is. Or I'll get more clout from that.
I relate
But-
to what you said.
But when that student gets their first opportunity or something goes well,
Yeah.
the impact you've had on their life is huge.
Priceless.
And
Yeah.
that is way more fulfilling than someone putting a flame emoji at the bottom of my video.
Yeah.
For me.
I hear you.
So establish why you're teaching.
I agree.
Second thing, what are you offering? Are you offering steps? I see teachers being like, this is how to make it as a dancer. And I'm like, so you're going to teach you because you didn't make it as a dancer.
Oh my gosh.
So
Good night and goodbye.
How can you tell people how to get a career when you've not had one?
Sleep tight.
No, facts.
How can you give advice on how to have a career when you've never had
I
one?
love it.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Chinese whispers from your friends which did the job and you didn't? So it's what are you teaching?
Make it make sense.
Are you teaching?
Make it
You can
make
teach.
sense.
You can teach movement quality. You can teach steps. You can teach stuff. Don't give them career advice. You've not had one. So I feel like there's so many different issues with teachers. I just feel like you need to establish what you're teaching and why you're teaching. Then you need to learn your students. So let's say I teach an open class at Playground. Plug Playground because Kenny's my friend. Go Playground. Say I'm teaching an open class there. When people come in the room, I need to try and figure out in that first 10 minutes why they're there. Are they here because they want to be a professional working dancer? Are they there because dance is their hobby? If they're there for it's a hobby, let them have a good time, yo. Tell them, good job. This is what you need to do better. You maybe don't need to be so harsh on them. If you've seen a dancer who's taking 94 classes a week and they're on everyone's program and intensive, they probably want to be a dancer. You've probably seen them on Instagram. Say to them, yo, can I give you some feedback? Do you want me to be honest? Have that conversation. They'll respect it.
Yeah.
Then also as the student, help the teachers help you. It has to be a relationship. It can't be, you can't just be expect to be taught. Because if you've got 50 people in your open class, you're making bank. But like, help them understand what you need. Go up to them and say, hey, if you ever have any advice for me in class or after class, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Then next time you come, I'm going to go, hey, they took the time to come and ask me. I'm going to keep it watch on that one. Whereas the person which just stays at the back and hides in the corner and then they go, they don't give me feedback. I'm like, but I think you're just hiding at the back in the corner. To me, you're not saying, I want feedback.
I'm here.
You're saying I don't want to be seen.
You're saying I don't want to be seen. So it has to be a relationship. It can't be you can't just be expect to be fed if your mouth's not open.
Absolutely.
And I love what you said, that you come into the teacher being like, I would love to receive some feedback. Could you have a look next time? Because then you know that person you're locking. If you're a real teacher, you're gonna lock that person. You're gonna see it. Don't come after the class. Do you have some feedback? Because I was paying attention to the whole room. If you want a specific feedback, give me at the beginning of the class, maybe like a note or something, like tell me that you really craving for it and I'm going to be there. But what you said is really important for me as well, like reading the room and really paying attention to the room, not just reflection in the mirror and people that are in the front, but really like turning around and really reading what these people want and what you can give to them in that 90 minutes of whatever, you know, like it's such a skill.
And I think, remember, it's their class, not yours.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's about them.
It's about them. It's not about you.
Yeah.
To me, that's a good teacher. If you can make it about them. In your head, you're like, I've choreographed 8 8s and it's fire. Well, if the capacity of the class is 4, you give them 4.
That's it. No one to
It's not
stop.
about. It's not about you dishing it out because
Yeah.
you've spent time at home. It's about what they're taking away.
Yeah.
So your first thought or love needs to be for the people in the room. Then I guarantee they will come back.
100.
Unless you're in a proper commercial class where you get 12 8 counts and you still need to practice that. So that's a good lesson in that space.
Retaining choreography. Yeah.
So there are spaces for something. So like understanding what you're bringing to the table.
And if it's
how
an
you
advanced
navigate.
class, then you do that. Yeah, but if you're teaching a beginner intermediate class, that's not what you do.
I would say every teacher should teach a beginner class once at least, because it's harder.
Teach beginners and teach children. When you've done that, then go and teach advanced people. You'll know how to teach.
Yeah.
It's such a skill, especially kids reading the room with kids. Oh wow.
Yeah.
I make a living from teaching kids and beginners.
But I always say, but that's where you see a teacher. Like, that's where you see if someone can teach.
Yeah.
Is if you can teach beginners and kids. For
It's
sure.
a lot of patience.
And hold that room.
When I went
Keep them engaged.
When I went to college, I went to this tiny little college in Wales called Rubicon. It had like 20 people in the whole class. And every week, like, we went and we did ballet, contemporary, and jazz. And then we'd have to do outreach work because they were very realistic with like the chances of you being a performer are very slim because it's such a hard thing to do. We want to be realistic and give you as many tools and skills to thrive when you leave here. So it was compulsory that twice a week we taught classes with adults with learning difficulties and disabilities. And then we went and taught dance at an elderly home where people couldn't get out of their chairs.
Oh.
And it was such a great skill because it taught you how to have patience, compassion, how to communicate in more ways than just saying this is what it is. It taught you so much about how to share dance without having to be like a boom ska ski scum, because That's never happening.
Yeah.
And it was since that, I did that at 16. That's when I'm like, I can teach anyone. We don't even need to speak the same language. I know I can teach you.
Love it. Also, I want to, because we talked a lot about teaching, but I know each one of you are mentors as well. You have your spaces, you have your people that you're mentoring. I think nowadays, everyone kind of wants to be a mentor in a way. And I think there is a lot of danger around it. There's been a situation in spaces when that gets a little bit, I don't want to say, just like taken a little bit, maybe let me rephrase this. I think sometimes mentoring can do some damage to people when done not right or not really carefully, I guess. So I know you guys, and I know the spaces you are in and know the spaces you are mentoring. So I guess maybe if you have any advice for people that want to cultivate the mentoring spaces and how to go about it with people, because I know you guys have an experience and I know you guys really care about the people that you are putting their effort in. What would you say to other people that feel they need, but how do they have to go about it?
To become a mentor?
Yeah.
So they want to do it.
They want to be a mentor?
Yeah.
Do people want you to be their mentors? I guess the first step.
Yeah.
Are people reaching out
Really good
asking for
question.
help?
I think that's the first.
If people
question.
don't see that you have something to offer,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to force it down someone's throat that you've got something to offer.
And then
They'll find it. Just hold an open class. They'll come if they like it. They see value in you. They'll start picking your brain. Let it happen organically.
Love that.
I feel like when I started I don't even call it a mentorship program anymore, because the reality is so unsustainable for me to mentor 20 people a month. To mentor, to truly mentor someone. Do you know that's like I'm 20 children.
Yeah, it's a lot.
If you're really mentoring someone, like when I look at the people which had like the biggest influence on my careers, like they were teachers, they were friends, and I'd say there was like one, like John Graham, I would say mentored me without knowing he mentored me, because it was just from a pure, honest place, whether it's what I wanted to hear or not, no matter what, because it was led with love, like I was his little brother.
Yeah.
So there was no like, I'm doing this to make you good. It's because it was a genuine care. So now when I think of mentoring someone, can I give that same compassion and effort to that person that I received from the person that did it for me? No, I can't do it for more than 2 people.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting to be on someone's beck and call. So I even just changed mine to the ins and outs training program, because I can train you. I can help you learn how to learn. I can give you feedback, but I can't mummy you or daddy you. It's too exhausting. So you have to be realistic with, are you actually qualified to do that? Not just in your ability, but in your effort.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time as well. It's not just surface level things. It's like internal, like people messaging you or asking for like feedback, or asking, oh, how do I get into the industry? Like someone messaged me the other day on DM and was like, she wants to get in the industry more and stuff like that, and she's plus size, and we was talking and she asked me a question. I can't remember the actual question, but I was just like, I don't know what to tell her. Like my first, and the thing is, I've spoken to loads of like people that, especially that's plus size or a bit more thicker, because that's how my whole situation happened. But I mentor a lot of women, but this specific lady was like, oh, how do I get into the spaces? Like, how do I get into more spaces? That's what she said. And I was like, I told her the real. I was like, there isn't spaces for you. There isn't. You have to make them. There ain't. Like, I just told her straight up, but 100%.
Yes.
And people ain't gonna tell her that. But for me, no.
They'll go, you can do it.
Yeah, but I was like, damn, what do I say? What do I say? I was stuck. But then also I was just like, it's a lot for me too, because I'm just like, oh, like I feel pressured to like give her something better than negative. Like, I don't know, like, do you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, I feel so bad. And I'm like, damn, this is a lot of pressure, boy. But I have to tell her the real, like, who's going to tell her? So there's no spaces, babe, but you need to make your own. You need to do this, boom, 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 boom. But I think being a mentor, literally what you said, I don't think, you can say you want to be one, I guess, but I really do feel like it happens organically. It just happens because people reach out to you. They see it in you. And then you're like, raw, and you don't even realize you're doing it. You don't even know you're doing it.
And I tried practicing it before I did it. So before I was like, I'm going to charge you for this. I did
Okay.
it for 2 people for free for 2 months because I was like, how can I charge someone if I don't know if I can do it?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what it requires.
Yeah, I
Right,
think that's what
hey.
happens. That's where I think my question came from, because people are being put in these positions because of the new generation, right? They choose somehow the person that they see in the place they want to be role,
Mm-hmm.
and then they kind of like try them to make the mentor. I think the mentor. That's how I qualify.
I think true mentorship comes with knowing the student. So for me, I naturally became a mentor because I run a training institution, and I've had people with me for 10 years solid.
And you see them back to back.
So I've seen them back to back for 10
Yes.
years. So do I mentor everyone? No, I'm very selective. Like if you've been at my training institution for a good 2-3 years solid, I know you.
Yeah.
So I'm able to give you the best advice. I know your habits. I know your timekeeping. I know how you roll. I know your mindset. I know your career goals because I teach you. I feed you every week. So I think mentorship should come naturally, and it's powerful when you know the people that you're mentoring, and know how many people you can mentor. So right now, I don't mentor anyone, but mentorship comes through my teaching. So when I'm teaching them, I'm also mentoring you.
Right.
I'm also speaking life into you. I'm also giving you advice about what to do at the audition. So that's a natural thing. In terms of one-on-one, don't have time for that. But I think mentorship comes from knowing who you're mentoring. It's not like I'm doing a mentoring course, join me. I need to know you. Like I need to know
You
you.
need to know the human, not
I
the
need to know the
dancer.
I
human.
hear that.
Are you serious
Yeah.
as well? Like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? Because you're wasting. If you're not serious about this, you're wasting my time.
Yeah.
So I need to see mentally and physically you're ready.
And I think,
for this.
I think what you said is really important, like just to know the person as well, because
So important.
I think mentoring there's a lot of responsibility as well, because you are in the position when the people are going to listen to you. They're here for that real advice, and you really need to know and understand not just like what you have in 3 hours in a dance studio. You need to understand how they operate, what works. And I think what you said, Mira, kind of made me think as well that it's okay to not know as a mentor as well, and just being okay with that, because I think a lot of people think they need to just say things just to say something, just to give something to people, but not knowing is also such a powerful thing, you know, being like, I don't know the answer to this question, I don't know what you need, but I can find out for you, or I can help you find out, you know what I mean? I think that mentorship for me personally is like a partnership. Like I started to be a coach because I wanted to be the person that doesn't give advice and just help people figure out themselves. But also sometimes I was in a position of a mentor, and I think there's so much responsibility in these advices that you give that it kind of just, you know.
Like, I would say I mentor one person, but it's never been a discussion. It's like,
Exactly the same thing.
Right.
she's assisted me every single weekend teaching kids for 3 years for free because she wanted to learn how to teach.
Yeah.
And the moment she said to me, can I shadow you? I want to learn how to teach. Of course you can. I rate that. She didn't be like,
Love
what
it.
do I get out of it?
Yeah.
I'm
Open her
already
door.
going, you're being smart.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to
Yeah.
learn from someone who you know is very good at this.
Yeah.
And now I send her work opportunities. If I can't teach, I recommend her because I'm like, you can get
Love
an
it.
extension of me.
Yeah.
She hasn't got my career. She hasn't got my accolades. However, she has many of my qualities and skill
Yeah.
sets. But now what's happened is sometimes she relies on me to have all the answers because whenever she's needed something, I'm there. So sometimes now and there's a girl. So there's already a difficult boundary of I'm not going to have answers to the questions you need. What should I wear my hair like? You think and I literally say to her, do you think I have the answer for that? You're
Which
used
is
to
a great
saying,
answer to what she's asking. Sometimes answering with a question is
how much makeup should I wear? How many auditions do you
Right.
think I've worn makeup for?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to.
So now this is my time where I say, be an adult, figure it out. Or sometimes she'll be like, oh, I can't get to this place. What should I do?
yeah.
Figure it out.
But that's good.
Me
but that's
helping you
good
now is-
mentoring.
That's
Yeah,
good
yeah.
mentoring.
You're
Yeah,
not feeding her.
You're
I don't wanna
teaching
say
her how
lies,
to.
but you're not feeding her anything that's dishonest, or like you're not
Yeah.
being fake, or you're not just saying,
Yeah,
oh,
well,
I can
giving her
maybe
the
do it like
answer
this,
doesn't
and you don't
teach
have
her,
no
no?
clue.
Yeah.
Giving her the
Yeah.
answer doesn't teach her. Like, what's that quote where it's like, teach someone to fish and they'll eat forever. Give someone a fish, they'll die tomorrow.
Right.
Like, my goal is to teach her how to fish. She
Nice.
shouldn't, I don't want her to rely on me.
Yeah.
I want to give her
That's
all the
amazing.
skills. I want to give this to every person I teach. That after a year,
Yeah.
I don't want you to need me. That means I'm good at my job. Like if you're a good personal trainer, you should have someone for 3 months and they should never have to see you again. because you've changed their lifestyle patterns so they know how to live.
Yeah.
If they're with you for 3 years,
Yeah.
you're
That's a problem.
Yes,
Yeah.
problem.
Exactly.
you're not doing your job very good because you haven't taught them anything.
Yeah.
Let them
You're just
fly.
doing it day by day.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to change their habits and their
Mhm.
lifestyle. And that's how I try and see being a dance teacher. My
Nice.
goal is to not have to teach you forever.
Yeah.
I love it.
Outgrow me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I always say as a teacher. I want you to become a better dancer than me.
Yeah.
And that's what my teacher always wanted for me when I was younger. And I think it's just one of the most beautiful things, you know.
So just what you just said, there's a lot of people that say, not you, but there's people that say that and they're generally holding people back.
Mm.
And that's where that mentoring thing,
Interesting.
like you're-
Elaborate.
yeah. But that's also, again, a scary thing because this person looks up to you. You're like their mentor, you're doing this and stuff, but you're actually blocking them in ways.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. If you want to be a mentor, like literally let it happen organically. Because if you start to do something that's not naturally in your system, again, those things can start to happen. Jealousy is happening now. They're overpassing you. Like that's a whole nother story in itself.
So you have to be selfless to be
Absolutely.
a mentor. You have to,
Absolutely.
and be open to share your knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Don't
not
be
be
no-
afraid
Yeah.
of that.
Don't
Yeah.
gatekeep.
Don't
Don't
gatekeep.
gatekeep.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't
gatekeep.
gatekeep. That is
Boom.
it. Don't gatekeep.
Mhm.
So yeah.
That's the one. Love it. Okay, so we talked a lot about the things that we can change, that we can do different. But let me just kind of switch it around and on a positive note, because that's going to be something that I'm going to have to think about as well. What do we love about current dance industry, dance world? What do we love about the things that have changed since we were a little younger?
There's a lot more opportunities.
Mm.
I look at the opportunities now and I think, wow, if I only had these
Yeah.
when I was in my prime. So there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities for all races now. So the industry has shifted massively in that realm. Pay could be better, but
Absolutely.
It's definitely improved though
follow
since
America.
I,
It
since
has.
since I
It
like
has improved.
retired.
It has improved. Like the fact that there's film that dancers can do now that pays good money. Dance stuff on Netflix paying good money. I feel like, yeah, the industry has changed for the better. For sure.
I think, diversity for me. I guess that's probably going to be my biggest thing. Because size was a thing for me, so that's like my number one. There's so many doors being opened for curvier women, men, whatever you identify as, anything. Like it's literally, the door is open at this point, which is amazing. Cause,
Especially in film world.
oh yeah,
Like-
yeah. All ages as well.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that's the biggest thing. That's like an amazing thing to see. That I wish I would have had like back in my time.
Kind of just piggybacking on what these guys said, like just how I think if the industry is how it English Kane. If the industry was how it is now in like 2017, I would have enjoyed my dance career far more.
Interesting. I think I would say, I'm trying to think sometimes, because I believe the dancers nowadays have different problems that we had. And sometimes I'm trying to put myself in the feet of dancers nowadays. And I'm just trying to understand, like, how would I go about it? Like, because there's so much. Would it not be harder for me if that was before? You know, it's like sometimes it's like both ways.
Yeah. I don't know. I always used to be like, how am I dancing for all these top artists? I would say I'm a very successful commercial dancer without blowing my own trumpet. I've had a very flourishing career. I felt like a professional student at the age of 28. If you had said to me, let's look at other like footballers, doctors, lawyers, accountants, actors. Once you're in the top 10% of your realm, you got bag. You're in dancers and you're top 10%, you still got housemates, bro. And that's how I used to see it. I used to be like, yo, why am I dancing for like all these artists and I'm still in my overdraft?
Yeah.
My spending's not even outrageous. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't a materialistic person. I wasn't partying.
Yeah.
Like, why am I still waiting
Yeah.
3 months to be paid? I'm sure these things
Yeah.
still happen. I don't experience them as much because I'm not in this world.
Yeah.
But over the past like 3 years when I've hopped back in to get my feet wet, like I've been like, very surprised with how much nicer it is and how much
Mm.
easier it is to communicate, how much
Yeah.
easier it is to get my money on time,
Yes.
how much more money I get.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember doing Top of the Pops, like a Christmas special. And this was like my deciding factor was like, I'm out. And it was like 2 days rehearsals and a shoot. And I think after the commission, I walked away with like £400
Oh.
or like £420. And I was like, and I was speaking to older generation dancers, like people like Mark Webb, like people listening to this will have no idea who he is. But like one of the most working dancers ever, like 2 generations before me. And he'd be like, yo, you do Top of the Pops and you could probably like put a down payment on like a hefty car. Like, because you get residuals, it gets repeats. And I'd be like, what's happened? And the day fee had never changed from like 20 years before or 15 years before it. And now, since like Dancers Network and, you know, everyone kind of coming together and the agencies fighting to make it a better place for you to make a living, it's still far from perfect or where it should be, but it's in a much better place than it was,
Yeah, most definitely.
you know?
Yeah.
So for me, that's when I see dancers being able to actually pay their bills, I'm like, come on.
Mm.
100%.
But then dancers also then need to help themselves. Now that's happened. Because you said dancers have different problems now, which they do.
Yeah.
But like, I would say dancers are the first people to complain they've got nothing to do. And then the first people to complain they're doing too much. So like I just did a film and there was a bunch of newbie dancers and OG dancers, which I was very embarrassed of and for, who would be moaning that we were getting asked to do like, they were like, we're not extras. Why are you asking me to do extra work? I'm a dancer. I'm like, oh, so you think villagers can just like, bam, change character, now you're a dancer? No, you've got to be in the scene. So you can't moan that you're getting 5 hours overtime and a minimum of $550 a day. A minimum of $550 a day, which muggles earn in a week. And then you're like, I don't want to walk from the shop to the window 54 times. I'm not an extra. But you would die in to be here. So help yourself, because what the company could have done is hire an extra or an SA, hire an SA and spent quarter of the money, and they would have happily done it. We're finally getting an opportunity. Stop ruining it for us. Shut up.
I'm gonna kind of jump on this one because I do need to also say that as dancers we like to complain. I think this is like a trait that a lot of us have, and I would leave that in 2023. I go back to that question.
As an agent, I'm fully aware of that.
I would say
Complaining
let's
is
look for
real.
solutions and let's look for like good outlooks on things, because again, like even with as I said, like we have different problems and a lot of them are on like a mental approach to things. Like again, plug wegrow 360 was created for us to solve these problems, because there is a gap and I acknowledged it and we're creating this. So I would love more people to take advantage of it. Don't complain, come. That's a cheeky plug. And I forgot the other thing that I wanted to say, but yeah, just I think, I wanted to say what I love about what's happening now is just accessibility to education, which is fantastic, and sometimes just take it for granted. Not sometimes, a lot. Because again, I was learning from like pixels on YouTube, you know, or not even. So I think, and I would just take it back to what we say about teachers as well. I say, as a teacher, I say just be curious, learn more, you know, and like have your education about dance a little bit further out. It's not only about like movement and cool like 5, 6, 7, 8 you create. I think there's more to dance than just doing 5, 6, 7, 8. There's more education. There is more exploration. There's more things that you can find out yourself that you can then bring to people. And if you really want to bring value to people, explore. So then you have more to bring to the table. So you don't just learn, you're going to go here and there, and your arm is going to go there. And like, that's just like, for me, it's always like, what you say?
It's also like, what problem can you solve? You know, they say like to have a business, the whole purpose of a business is to solve a problem. So what can you solve as a teacher? So there's a lot of teachers. There's, you know, obviously new studios, a lot of classes. It's very, very noisy. So what can you bring as that educator? So what problem can you solve? So you know what's out there, what problems are being solved in your class. And if you can pick one problem to solve, great. Because then there's purpose underneath those steps.
Yeah. And I just want to say also that I love the fact that we can build our own opportunities much easier nowadays. There's so many opportunities. Oh my days. if you want to be creative in the ways you live your life as a dancer, you can. Like you can really create your line. It takes courage and it takes like that belief system, but you really can do it. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that's going to support it. I think the environment is quite supportive nowadays. Obviously, there's always going to be some keyboard warriors and some people that are just jealous. Right. Exactly. That's the thing. And I think the bravery in that space is also something that I always support. So if anyone decides to do something on their own, I'm always going to support it because I know personally it's not that easy.
But do it for the right reason.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone thinks they can have a business. And not
Not everyone needs a training method.
A minute of silence.
Not everyone needs a training method, and not everyone needs a creative company. Insert name, creates.
Oh.
Something name, creates. You teach a class, bro. It's not creates.
A 1 minute silence for Kane.
You ain't gonna see no Kane creates. Kane don't create. Kane teaches.
Go long because I'm crying.
You know I'm right though.
I love. Yeah, you are. 100%.
You're one.
100%.
Yeah. I wanted to say it, but I thought, you know what, it's gonna come out soon. So
You thought, oh no, I'm gonna let the ginger guy do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let.
But yeah, again, ask yourself why 5 times and then get to the core and then think if you can go Kane create.
But also there needs to be consistency when you run a business. So I know that sometimes I've seen so many training programs happen since I launched Runway House. And, you know, I think sometimes we set something up because right now I need some money. And I know we have to hustle.
Yeah.
But we can't be putting on programs and then ending it midway through because you booked a job on tour. Like I had to sacrifice me to make Runway House the best it can be.
And how many years?
We're going into our 10th year.
Come on.
Oh, we love that.
Do you know what I mean? So
Round
there's
of
like
applause for
a lot of sacrifices. Like I can't do this job. I can't be away from the brand. I need to be here. So it comes with sacrifice. So we can start a business, but are you prepared to say no to you?
Has your why for Runway changed since you started till now?
No.
I love that.
No. As in there's more I want to do with it, but it's the same purpose. I created something I wish existed. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same vision, the same purpose.
It's so solid.
same
It speaks
why.
volumes, you know?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to run a business. Like you get your ups and your downs, but if you know your why, and you got to be tunnel vision. Like you can't, like those blinkers need to be, because there's so much going on. But if you know your why, then your brand speaks for itself. Do you know what I mean? But it takes time, and it took me sacrifice for me to say no to me. So if you do want to do a training program, make sure you're prepared to say no to your career. Because that business needs your time.
Yeah.
I used to think that I want to open a dance studio, but now I know I don't, because that's like next level stuff.
I always said, one day I'll have my own studio, and then I go and teach at so many studios, and I go, I'm not willing to do that. Like to have my own building. So it's not just from like 7 till 9 p.m.
I respect everyone.
There's got to be stuff in the day. Oh no, I'm not here for that. It's too much.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one more question that we can talk about, and I really wanted to hear that, and I think it might be interesting. So let's see. What experience in your dance career has been the most significant, and why?
Oh, experience.
I know it's hard to know.
Like a
Get a
job
little.
Or
I think whatever that means to you, you know.
experience.
I have 2.
Okay, love it.
My first one is my MRD program that I only put on last year, and it was something that I really wanted to do, but I was so scared to do it. And my partner was like, you do this already. You just haven't labeled it. You've been doing this for so many people. You just haven't labeled it, and you're not charging for it. But yeah, it's mindset reality dance. So again, it's something that I wish I had. It's not just about dancing, training 5, 6, 7, 8, teaching students how to deal with like more the mental side of dance and like what comes with it. Also the reality of dance, of it not being so, I'm going to get an agent as soon as I get out of training and a whole situation. And obviously you got the dance where you're actually training. So yeah, I was really proud of that. I'm due to do one this year. Cheeky plug.
Sign up.
But yeah, so that's something that I'm really proud of. And I limited it to 20 students. So it was a bit more intimate.
Love it.
Well, as intimate as it can get. And the second one, I went on tour last year, and I had been manifesting this for, I think, I'm going to say like 5 years. Bear in mind, I'm not a great flyer. Like I need someone with me that I'm very familiar with.
Okay.
Just anxiety. Like I literally cannot. Like I've never been on a plane by myself, and I would love to get on one soon. That's the goal. But absolutely. But I need like someone that's familiar with me. Like I need to be on the plane with them to feel like kind of safe. And so manifesting for 5 years, and bear in mind, I weren't ready 5 years ago. So again, it's something I can look back now and know I was like, why am I not getting this? Why am I not? I was that girl. Wow, why am I not getting this tour? Blah, blah, blah. I was not ready. Like, first of all, I ain't getting on no plane by myself, and that means I'm gonna have to drag someone with me. Two, stamina wise, like there were so many things why I knew I weren't ready. So obviously last year came round, and I was given the opportunity to go on tour with Thames, which was the best, like one of my best jobs to date. The girls that I knew made me feel real safe. I'm cool with all of them. So I could fly. So it kind of it just worked out in a way which was so special. And it's not so much the job, which was interesting. I'm super gassed and so grateful that I got to experience that. And we went to South Africa and Australia. So we went far. Yeah, like we went
over the
we went
side.
somewhere else. So I was super grateful, but it was more the flying, like doing that with the people that I'm not so familiar. So that was the experience for me, which was obviously tied to dance, but it was more so getting over that fear and actually doing it, because I've turned jobs down because I can't get anyone to fly with me. Yeah, so it was a big deal. Like it was a big thing. So I think for me, those are the two. Like
It's so beautiful when we see these things like with the time, you know, when you look back, like I wasn't ready.
I was not ready.
There's so many things in my life as well. Like, I didn't understand why I didn't get it. Years later, that makes sense now.
Yeah. Be
What would
honest
you-
with yourself. Yeah.
What would you say these experiences taught you?
Again, going back to the first question you asked me, like fear again. Sometimes we hold on to fear. It's not fear holding us back. And that's something that I'm really trying to like let that sit in, because there's times where, again, I'm like nervous and I'm like, oh, this is like, I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But really and truly, I'm just so used to doing that. So it's like, I'm actually holding on to the fear. It's not that fear is stopping me. It's that's like my reset thing. Like, oh, I'm just scared. Like we do that a lot as humans. And I don't think we process that though. So it's just something that I'm just trying to narrow down in terms of the fear. I think fear is like the core of a lot of things.
When you deep fear, it's false evidence appearing real. So false
One more
evidence,
time?
false evidence appearing
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
So it's a false piece of evidence that appears to be real,
Yeah.
which allows you to feel fear.
Yeah.
So it's not real.
It's not. No, it's not. It's mad.
But once you deep that, it changes the perspective on so much.
Yeah, it changes your whole outlook on stuff. So now that I know I've done this, again, I'm not saying I'm going to jump on a plane tomorrow by myself. Absolutely not. I'm going to give that time and be realistic. Again, be realistic with yourself. But I know that I've taken that leap of faith, and I know that that's taught me like I can actually do it. I can do it. It's not impossible. And I think we think, oh, I can't. Again, I can't do it. But you can.
Yeah.
It can be done.
Okay, we now support this journey and we can't wait to see you on the
Oh, you be the first to know.
Every time we see on your gram, you're an airport, we're going to be like, who you with?
Come on.
My man. I love it.
So say that again. So what experience?
Yeah, what was the most significant experience in your dance life, career so far, up to date?
From a work aspect or from a human aspect? Because they're very different things for me.
Whatever you want. Mira had to, so you're allowed to.
I mean, I feel like it's a never-ending story, but for me, like to deep it, take it down a notch. Sorry, don't have to be like, oh, it's sad. But I was on my way to do an advert when I lived in LA, and at 6 a.m. I got a phone call saying my brother had hung himself, going on set. So I went on set and I did the advert, did my job that was required, flew home, yada, yada, yada. It just kind of taught me that I took being Kane the human for granted because I was so blinkered on being Kane the dancer. And I now try and prioritize time with the people that I love. So for me, that's the biggest, I would say, significant thing that's ever happened in my entire life. It changed who I am. It changed what I want. It changed where I am. It was the most traumatic experience ever. yet for some reason I've learned so much from it. It's brought me so much value, yet it was so horrific. It's a weird one. Like, it was the greatest bad thing to ever happen to me.
Wow.
And it happened at the right time.
Wow.
Because it happened when I still had time to come home and see my relatives.
Yeah.
It didn't happen when I'm 50 and it's too late to spend time with people. It happened when I was young. So now I come home and I speak to my brothers. I see my family. You know, like, it's made me invest more in that. So that from a human aspect. From a work aspect, I think I was given too many opportunities too soon. I think I was so hungry for the job and to get a CV or a resume that I never allowed myself to live in the moment. I never allowed myself to learn. I was just always, what's next, what's next, what's next? So whenever I was on jobs, I'd be like, instead of enjoying the job, you're on a beautiful stage in Singapore with Kylie Minogue. Instead of taking it all in and being like, yo, this is everything you ever dreamed of, I was so busy thinking, what am I going to do next week? Whereas I wish I could now go back to 17-year-old Kane and be like, yo, you're going to do all these things, enjoy them. So I never really enjoyed the moments when I was given these opportunities. And I think that will have had an effect on the outcome of my career. I think if I was more present in them and I enjoyed them more and I was more invested in the moment that I was doing, I would have had a better career. Do you know what I mean? Because I was always just, I'm not there. I'm like, yeah, cool, let's get these steps done. Let's get it done. What's next? So busy, like fast food. It was like, let's go. Because everything was so fast and I got it so young. I wish I had someone to go to me, hey, slow down. Chill. Embrace this. Enjoy it. You got 3 days here. Enjoy these days. But I didn't. I was so busy about, to make it means I have to have all these names on a piece of paper. That's what making it was to me. Whereas now, making it is not that.
Well.
100%.
Yeah.
But for me, from my wonderful 33 years, that doesn't mean I've made it at all. Because actually, most of those jobs on that piece of paper I didn't really like.
That's other
You know, like when you look at it,
story.
didn't really like it. If you real deep it, I thought that meant
ballgame.
success.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can really aim for the job or for the goal, and then it becomes like horrific experience as well. And I just want to say thank you for sharing. You know,
No, of course.
I appreciate it a lot.
It's deep.
Yeah,
Learned a lot, man.
It's so interesting that from something so traumatic can make you grow so much. You know, it's
I
crazy.
think that's the only way. You know, obviously it's a process, but the only way is to grow.
But we can talk about something nice now if you want.
I actually can't think of an experience to me, you know. I'm actually trying to sit here and think of an experience.
I think if you want a little bit more time to maybe come up with something, I think, because I was actually thinking for me, because I asked you a question and I never even thought about it myself. And obviously, other than being, you know, a passionate teacher and just enjoying every single class I've ever taught and making it really important for me, I'm gonna have to mention the Netflix job, the Dance 100, and it's not even about the job itself and the credit or anything about that, but I think it's the first job when I was really truly 100% myself. From the moment I stepped into the audition in that room, I never felt, I don't know what happened, but I think in the audition I remember I was just fully myself and really left them really happy no matter what the outcome was. And I was really blessed on that job to be around people that allowed me to be 100% me and really appreciate me for the dancer that I am, like 100%. I didn't have to change anything. They just really wanted me to be me. And it really meant a lot, especially after 10 years in London. I think that was like a 10-year anniversary year kind of thing, and turning 30 in the same year. It was just a lot of things, and I think it was kind of something that I really needed, and I didn't even know how much. I was very blessed for people that put me in the right place with the right people, because I didn't choose it. People chose it for me, but they chose it so perfectly that I just was in an experience and I could really, really feel the experience. I really allowed myself to be like, raw, like they really want me to be here. They really want me to be me, do everything that I do and just shine. And I was like, that's great.
I think it's a beautiful thing when you're booked because of you.
Yeah, it's
because
the
of what
best.
you bring.
Yeah.
You know, we know that she moves in this way. Like, we know that she's got these styles. We know that she's down in this way, and we need her.
Yeah.
And also to get a job that highlights who you are,
Mm.
I think is, and I think that you was with the right choreographers.
Exactly. But
Like, I
someone
think it
put me in that
just,
position.
yeah, like it was
Yeah.
a perfect job.
A
for
lot
you.
of the time when we're hired as dancers, right, we're hired to fill a role. A role which has already been, even if it's not created yet, is visually, someone's got a vision of what that role looks like.
Yeah.
But I feel like with that job, you were just booked because you danced, because you're really good at the skill set you have. I'm not booking you because you got brown hair, because you got blonde hair.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there's a bit of that, but there's like,
Yeah.
it's mainly on that thing. I remember when they were casting it, it came through on an email and it's a reality show, and I was like, not a chance. No, like, straight away my brain goes Big Brother. It goes like, you know, reality TV. And then I remember watching it, and it's the most envious I've ever been watching a job, because I was like, oh my God, people are actually being paid to be dancers and not be like a prop. Like, you're actually getting to showcase the things that you graphed in class for. You haven't just done 95 hours of training this month so you can carry a candle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're actually on stage busting the steps that you've trained so hard for. It is the best thing I think that could have happened for dancers.
Obviously, like the job itself, there could be things better. Everyone had a different experience as well, but I'm just literally sitting here speaking from my personal. I think my journey with that show and my journey with that job, I was really, really grateful, and I think it was something I'm always going to cherish as a memory.
I said everyone needs to make sure that they've got it on like repeat on their TV, because the more views this gets, the more likely it's going to get green flagged for a second season, which brings more
I don't
opportunity.
think there's going to be a season 2.
I know, but
So everyone, please watch it so we can get season 2 and you can get hired.
you got to support your own cause, man.
But
Yeah.
also
True.
a job, also
It's
a job
really
that
true.
hired a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
also a job, but actually knowing that was actually people were booked on it before the pandemic is crazy in itself. But it was a job that provided a lot of 100 dancers.
That's a lot. Like,
That's a lot.
that's a
I think I
lot.
was one of the
Yeah.
last people to get on the job, to be fair. So I'm blessed that it took them so long to hire people.
Yeah. But it's just it's a beautiful thing that a lot of people were able to have work for a nice amount of time.
But also
Wow.
going back to what you, Mira, said, like if I was booked for the show 2 years ago prior COVID, and if it happened, I would not be as ready, because I stepped into that show already knowing myself, and that was so important when you step to a show like that, because
Yeah.
there's so many different people, so many different dancers, so many different choreographers. You're in a different position. Sometimes you have to switch choreographer, and it's like you have to really know yourself in these positions, and you have to know yourself when you step into a job, into every room. And I think that goes back to like this authenticity and about who you are that we started. I think that's given like a nice little ribbon to be like, who are you when you step into those rooms, you know?
Yeah.
So then
But
you
would
can
have
embrace
said
them.
2 years ago that ability-wise you could have done that job, but are you saying mindset-wise?
Yes, exactly.
I think artists need to
Exactly.
understand that as
Mindset.
well. It's a
Mm.
mindset
It's a
thing. So
mindset
you can
thing.
be
Mindset.
Unless
it's like fitness wise too.
yeah,
But
but you can be talented,
But
but
that
your
was where I was going
mindset
at, yeah.
is not
Yeah.
there at all.
But
Like to have that kind of pressure.
the one
Like
thing that
one.
we all keep talking about is that like we know ourselves, but then my worry as an educator is that what I would hate is that a 19-year-old or 18-year-old is going to now find pressure that they go, oh my God, I have to figure myself out. I need to know who I am. The only way that happens is through experiences and
Yes.
time.
And time.
You cannot
Yeah.
force it.
Patience.
And
Yeah.
patience, like, because it's so easy for us to say it because
Yes.
we're all elder
Yeah.
and we've
Yeah.
all lived a life and we all have experiences. But if you've only ever been to a dance college, like, you ain't going to know you. Like, and you have to be okay with that. So don't feel like you're not going to make it because you don't know you, or the world's going to end because you don't know you.
Yeah.
You just have to let be what will be, and you'll figure it out, and you'll learn the things which feel natural
Yeah.
and the things that don't,
Yeah.
and follow that path.
Mhm.
And that's how you learn you.
Embrace mistakes as well. And
Yeah.
failing,
Failing will
embrace
happen.
failure.
Yeah. Just learn from them.
It's to
that's
learn
it.
from the failing. You know, like you are going to fail.
There's no such
You
thing
learn
as
from
failing.
that.
That one as well.
There's no such thing as failing. You only fail if you
it's-
quit. You only fail if you don't try again.
Yeah. It's lessons learned,
Yeah.
really.
But even quitting's a powerful thing.
Yeah, when it's the right time, you
It's
know.
the right time.
I think because world is observing everything, like I think there is a hesitance into decision making, into like making those decisions that might be wrong. I just say go for it. Go
Yeah.
for it and learn. And I think
Yeah.
that's the best way you can figure out. They say and find out. So a little bit of that as well. Okay, so if you were to leave this room, say leaving people with one sentence, what would you want that sentence to be?
try everything more than twice, because the first time you're trying something, you might not like it because you're afraid or because you're not good at it. Sometimes you have to do something a few times before it feels good. So like, if I look at dance, my first ever going into something simple, going into a dance class, the first time it was terrifying because I was awful. And if I just gave up on it in that first time and said I didn't like it because I was afraid, I never would be me. And I feel like we need to do that with everything. We need to give something more than 2 or 3 tries before we judge it.
Love it. That was 8 sentences.
Sorry, bro.
I love it. I love it.
What we repeatedly do consistently, we become. So, and that's in your daily life. So whatever you want to become, what you repeatedly do consistently, you will become it. So if you want to be stronger and you work out every day, you will become stronger. So what we repeatedly do consistently, we become. So if you want to become a professional dancer, what does your daily habits look like? It's what you do repeatedly makes you become the very thing that you aspire to be.
I love that. Go on.
I live by that
Go on,
daily.
girl.
Daily.
Yes.
I love that. I would say take your time, but don't be complacent.
Balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say ask yourself why 5 times if you need to understand your movement and your steps and your decisions. If you need. And one more thing, because I love to ask it in every situation. For you personally, if you would have one word to sum up this conversation for for you personally, what word would you choose? Just one word. That's it.
Refreshing.
Enjoyable.
Inspired.
Amazing. I'll say grateful.
Cute.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Make
It's the
sure
first one, right?
It's the first one.
First of
Come on,
many.
original
Come
cast.
on.
First of many.
Original cast.
Come on, original cast.
The t-shirts are coming.
I love
Original
it.
cast.
We did Skeleton Crew. We've done original cast.
Love it. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure you look out for the second one next month. Every month we have 1 episode. Make sure you look out for the events. Get yourself plugged in to the website, to the Instagram, to YouTube, to Spotify, and tell a friend. Tell someone that you think needs it. I think for me, very important thing with this platform is sharing is caring. I always say just share it with the people that you care about. Share it with the people that think can take the value from it, because this is why we're doing it. We want to bring value. We want to help people. And we want to make this life enjoyable. And that's it. Thank you.
Happy 2024.
Happy 2024.